Hello Malawi, hello Africa. Today the 14th of March, we are back on our platform called Malawi Youth Forum. As youth of this country, it's our responsibility to show each other insight. It's our responsibility to be involved, to talk about politics in this country. It's our responsibility to be aware of what's going on in the world, in Africa, in our country. As the youth of this country, we understand we are the future of this country and we are the youth of today as well as tomorrow. Our platform was born, our mission statement is to at least see a developed Malawi one day. Our mission statement is to see Malawi developing like other countries. Today, the 14th of March, I have a document with me in my hand. This is a manifesto for one of the political parties in SADC in a country called Namibia. Namibia is being ruled, have been ruled from 1990 to 2025 by a political party called SWAPO. I stand here today to do compare and contrast because I live in Namibia and I have seen and I am a witness to say this is the state that Namibia is from 1990 to 2025, and as a Malawian, I am also a witness to see where Malawi is, to know where Malawi was from 1994 to 2025. This is the reason why today we are here. We want to do compare and contrast. This is because Malawi is about to vote. So here we want to look at what SWAPO has done and what our political parties have done from 1994 to 2025. In this pamphlet, we are going to go through SWAPO's achievements. We are going to speak about good quality infrastructure. SWAPO have managed to develop Namibia in a sense that from 1990 to 2024, you can really tell that, yeah, the political party that is running Namibia is doing better. For me, I can give it 90%. Being a man who was born and raised in Malawi, of course, I've been to South Africa and I've been to Zambia, I've been to Mozambique, I've been to Botswana. But I live in Namibia, so I'll compare these two countries because I've lived in Malawi. Malawi is my home and Namibia is my second home because that is where I live. So we are going to differentiate this. So the first point we are going to differentiate is about infrastructure, good quality infrastructure. The second thing will be better living standards of people that has access to education and healthy sciences, healthy services, in short. We will also talk about the power grid, electricity. These are a few points that I want to mention because if we say a country is developing, we look at infrastructures. If we say people are developed in a country, we'll talk about better standards of living, access to education and healthy services. And when we talk about development, there is no infrastructures if electricity is not enough in the country. Fellow Malawians, I would like to mention a few things here from these achievements, from this SWAPO Party Manifesto achievements. First of all, let's talk about quality infrastructures. If we speak about infrastructures, if we compare Malawi and Namibia, Namibia is doing 90% better than Malawi. Let's speak about road networks. Namibia, from 1990, it has increased its roads from 4,572 kilometers to 8,260 kilometers by 2023. That was the information about road road infrastructures. Okay? Now, let's go to something else. Namibia have access to sea. They have an ocean. According to statistics and according to reality, because I have been there at the port, that side of Swakopmund, to the side where there's a sea in Namibia, they say from 1990, they have increased their exports from about 750,000 containers per annum, that's in 2023, from 350,000 containers per annum, that's from 1990 to 2023. All right? Let's go to another very important point. Better standards of living, access to education and services. From 1990 to 2024, Namibians live in heaven compared to Malawians. I know, I am aware that many of you understand these things because you were born in Malawi and then you got a chance to go to South Africa and you got a chance to come to Namibia and maybe you got a chance to go to Zambia. When we compare our countries' living standards between these three countries I've mentioned, especially Namibia, Namibians are living in heaven. How? When we speak about standards of living, better standards of living, that means a citizen have access to clean water, of which Namibia have clean water. When we speak about better standards of living, we are speaking about people being able to have access to education, health services. In Namibia, you have clinics that are fully functional. If you go there, out of maybe 6 subscriptions, or if the doctor have subscribed you to a certain medication, maybe if it's 3, 2 will be available. Maybe they'll tell you 1, you must go to the pharmacy. But when you are at their clinic, just the clinic, not the hospital, they will test your high blood pressure. Malawians, tell me, if you are living in this type of lifestyle, what could you say? Namibians have access to health services that I can say 90%. Because first of all, before you see a doctor or a nurse, they test you first to know how is your high blood pressure. They take you through different tests, and then they talk about why did you go to the hospital. They have enough nurses, well-trained nurses. They have doctors, well-trained doctors. And Namibia understand the power of working together with other African countries. So in Namibia, you find Malawian doctors, you find Zimbabwean doctors, you find Malawian nurses. A lot of Malawians running away from Malawi to come to Namibia to seek job opportunities in Namibia because Malawi does not provide better standards of living. Fellow Malawians, when we speak about better standards of living, we are speaking about being able to have access to electricity that allows you to have a fridge in your house, a microwave in your house, a TV in your house. You have access to internet. That's what we call better living standards. Namibians are living 90% better standards of living compared to Malawi. When we speak about better standards of living, we are talking about life insurance. Namibians, their workers' union works. If you are working somewhere and your rights have been jeopardized at some point or you are being discriminated, Workers' Union of Namibia is available, of which in Malawi we can say labor office. Fellow Malawians, you are my witness that Malawians are suffering in the hands of Indians, but we have labor office in Malawi. In Namibia, the economy is run by white people, the Boers. From South Africa, some are Germans, but they treat their people well. SWAPO governments make sure of that their citizens are not being discriminated. If they are, there are laws. Laws are followed. Part of better standards of living. When we speak about better standards of living, my fellow Malawians, we are talking about a political party, a government that cares for its people, that it's able to provide nice and proper road infrastructures. Namibia is just completing a project it started in 2019. One of the engineers in the project is a Malawian. We have many youth, we have many people running away from Malawi to come and live in countries like Namibia, in countries like Zambia, in countries like South Africa, because in Malawi, we don't have better standards of living. Let's mention something very important. Health. When somebody is born, today, somebody that was born in 1990 can go to Ministry of Home Affairs and find his or her birth certificate. Go to Malawi. I was born at Queen Elizabeth. If I go to Queen Elizabeth now and say, I want my birth certificate, I won't find it. It's not backed online. Probably the papers are torn. Malawi does not have better standards of living. Malawi does not have better access to education, just like how it is in Namibia. Let's mention two important things. Number one, does Malawi have proper school infrastructures? Zero. If you come to Namibia, yes, there are parts that are not doing well. This is why I'm saying if we compare the Malawian government and Namibian government is trying 90% because schools are well structured. In Namibia, if you finish grade 12, which is Form 4 in Malawi, government have a very powerful institution that helps students or youth to go to school. My own wife is a very good, better, what can I say? She's benefiting to these things. She goes to school, she goes to university. In my country, tell me if the government is able to assist the youth of this country to go to school, to the university. Zero better standards of living in Malawi. In Namibia, there is 90% better standards of living under SWAPO government. Only one government. In my country, we have changed governments and political parties. From 1994 until today, Malawi does not have good quality infrastructures at all. I have information here in my book that says Malawi's third road infrastructures, it cannot be more than 2,000 kilometers. But Namibia has about 8,260 kilometers, including in villages, including in communities, including in suburbs around town and outskirts of the city. Better standards of living under SWAPO. In Malawi, there was Malawi Congress Party, UDF, DPP, PP, DPP again. Now we have MCP under Tonse Alliance. Zero good quality infrastructures. Zero better standards of living. When we are speaking about better standards of living, we are talking about citizens have enough access to electricity. I'm mentioning this because it's very important. It works hand in hand with education. Let's talk about Malawians in terms of access to internet. In a country of 20 million compared to a country that is of 3 million citizens, Namibia have got power grid. When SWAPO was taking over power from the white people, from the Boers, their electricity was 384 megawatts. Today in 2024, they have increased 563 megawatts in a country of 3 million. You can imagine. Almost 75% of the people in Namibia have access to electricity. That gives them access to internet. Let's talk about Malawi. Malawi, in a country of about 20.5 million people, we have 583 megawatts in a country of 20 million. Tell me if you will be able to have enough power to run the living standards of people in a country of 20 million. 583. Zero better living. Zero better standards of living in Malawi. Fellow Malawians, this is the reason why when we come here we say, come 16th of September, Malawi must change and we must not look back. We need a new leadership. We need a leadership with a revolutionary type of style. I took my time watching the recent interview by the former president, Her Excellency, Madam Joyce Banda. If you watch the interview from the beginning to the last, what I've picked up is that presidents can come with their political parties. A president cannot be corrupt. But once they enter the state house, everyone is corrupted. People around the president are corrupted. It's now known that sometimes presidents don't know what is happening. For example, the current president of Malawi, he had a sonar at the Malawi parliament, of which he mentioned things that are not true at all. He is mentioning things that his colleagues, or I can say those that were there before him, made or developed. He's talking about developments that were there, that were made by others, not himself. That tells me that in Malawi, national intelligence is doing nothing. We don't need any national intelligence because it seems like the presidents are being lied to. A president can come with proper manifesto like what we have seen. I'm having a Swapo manifesto here because I want to manifest that the things that are written in this manifesto are true compared to what is in Malawi. People have nice manifestos, high-five manifestos. They have manifestos that people will eat 4 times a day. They have got manifestos that they'll bring supergate roads in Malawi. It never worked. One of the things that Madam Joyce Banda mentioned, she mentioned that former founding president of this country, which is Bagiri Muluzi had a vision 2020. When this thing was being mentioned, I think it was 1995, 6, 7 there, Bagiri Muluzi was talking about Vision 2020. And we saw that we will have supergate roads, we will have proper infrastructures. 2020, I am a witness. You are a witness, my fellow Malawians. What can you point? What has Vision 2020 achieved? It was just a rhetorical, it was just a song. But billions and billions of money have been missing. Coming to my point of, in Malawi, citizens are very much corrupt to a point that they enjoy to be corrupt, to a point that Malawi is not developing at all. We point fingers at ministers, we point fingers at presidents, but we, Malawians, are the ones that have a problem, according to Madam Joyce Banda. She's the former president and she said it. You have watched that interview. Fellow Malawians, it is the right thing to compare Swapo government with Malawi because I have been in Malawi for about 4 governments. I have been in Namibia run by 1 political party. But I've seen things changing. I've seen roads being started and finished. I've seen infrastructures from the beginning to the last. No corruption. No money for the project missing. One political party. One thing we have to learn, Malawians, is that changing a political party is not the answer sometimes. Let's compare SWAPO government with Malawi government. Kamsbanda was under Malawi Congress Party. Because we Malawians have got a very selfish, let me say, everyone is selfish, but sometimes it comes to a point that you don't even, there's no need to be selfish because time is what tells. Okay? Kamsbanda has been the president for 32 years. He did not want to find another young man in his own political party to groom, so that when he is leaving the power, he must leave the power in that man or that woman to continue within Malawi Congress Party. This is the reason why UDF was born. Because Bagile Muluzi was the Secretary General from MCP, of which you could already tell he possessed powers to be a leader. He was just supposed to be endorsed by Kamsbanda. That's what SWAPO have done. From 1990, from Sam Nyoma to now President-elect Her Excellency Nandi Ndaitwah, there have been Pohamba, the former President Pohamba, there have been late Hage Geingob. Now there is a caretaker, Nangolo Mbumba. Now let me explain what I mean. SWAPO, they have so much, they understand that each one of them has the capability to be leaders. According to their constitution, they give each other chances. From 1990 to 2005, that's 3 terms of Sam Nyoma. He handed over the power. He resigned, knowing that, no, I have grown. I'm now growing old. Let me go enjoy my retirement. If Kamsbanda would have done that, Malawi would have been developed by now, because we don't mind if it's my Congress Party in power. But as long as you are developing the country, as long as you are giving us good quality infrastructures, Malawians will be okay. We are hardworking people. We don't want to be handed over for free things. No. If it was the same MCP from Kamsbanda, maybe to Bagile Muluzi, maybe Bagile Muluzi to Bingwa Mutharika, but within the same party, SWAPO has done that. Within the same party, they choose the leaders and they have set their structures properly. When they are into power, they make sure that when they are leaving, they must deliver. This is why today in Namibia, from 1990, with about 5 presidents now, let me confirm, with about 5 presidents now, Namibia will continue flourishing. Fellow Malawians, UDF came with their own ways of government, their own style of government, leaving what MCP was doing. Same problem. After UDF, DPP came with its own style. After DPP, PP came with its own style. After that, DPP came back. There's always been a fight instead of focusing on developing the country. So my fellow Malawians, after 62 years or 60 or 61 years or whatever, 16th September 2025, it's the time that it must be the last vote. It must be the last voting that we must fight to say who's going to be the president or which party is going to be in power. We must say enough is enough. We must get a government that when it comes, going forward, maybe that political party must be wise enough to choose another one from the party to say, I've done my part, now I must give this to this one within the party so that we can continue developing this country. Fellow Malawians, I want to tell you today that Malawi is a graveyard as we speak now. It's not a country at all. People are dying and they're being buried in a blanket that we're sleeping on. in Namibia, when we speak about better standards of living, a Namibian dies with dignity. The government have set up structures that policies, companies do come and create policies for citizens that in a month they could pay about 260 a month, so that when I die, that company will be able to provide for me a coffin, will be able to give me a tent where people can sit, will be able to give you money, cash, sent to account so you can take care of the funeral, the funeral itself. Invite people come through to say their condolences, they must eat. You know, sometimes they can even drink because they celebrate to say, oh, we are celebrating a life of our brother, a father, a sister, or an uncle. Better standards of living. People in Malawi have no life insurance. In Namibia, they have life insurance. They know when I'm dead, I will be buried in a nice casket. They know that their kids maybe have got something small coming from the policy. Life continues that way. Better standards of living in Namibia is 90% higher from zero in Malawi. Fellow youth, as we go towards the voting day, I speak to you now that it's time to think. We have seen Peter Mutharika and his political party, DPP, trying to get back to power. Well, Malawians are disappointed with Lazarus Chakwera, Malawi Congress Party, so now the question is where to. Now they have completely forgotten how DPP under Peter Mutharika, the government was run. They have completely forgotten. But with me, if you ask me, I say, we do not need a 95-year-old man to rule this country again. No. I support the age bill. Somebody that is sober-minded should be able to be wise enough to say, I am old. A good example, His Excellency late Sam Shafishuna Nyoma said, I have done my part. 3 terms are enough. He did not seek for 4th term. He said, let me give my fellow comrade, Pohamba. Pohamba took the country on another level. When Pohamba was done with his term, he did not say, I want my 3rd term. No, he said, no, I'm done. Let me give Hage. Hage came, and Hage died during his term. So somebody else had to take the power, the office of the president, of which by constitution it is vice president, Nangolo Mbumba. Nangolo Mbumba says, I am only a caretaker. According to SWAPO constitution, the one who is supposed to be the president is Nandi Ndaitwa. Nangolo Mbumba endorsed her, and she has been elected. No fights. Very good power transition in Namibia. As that is happening, the country is moving. In Malawi, there have been fights from UDF. Malawi Congress Party wanted to take over the power because they don't want UDF to be there. When UDF lost the power, we're going to DPP, they wanted the power again. So it has always been fights over fights amongst these leaders. It's happening now. They are busy to fight while people are dying of hunger. People are queuing in filling stations to fill their car. Malawians are buying 1 liter of fuel or diesel in Malawi higher more than Namibians. At the moment, petrol in Namibia is $21.66, of which if we compare it in Malawi kwacha, those are like, in Malawi now 1 liter is about what? 5,000, 6,000, because there's no fuel. When we speak about governments that cares about their own people, SWAPO cares about their own people more than Malawian governments, all of them. My fellow Malawians, we need a government that 15 years from now we must say, wow. From 2025 to whatever year in future, 15 years from now, Malawi have developed. And you know what, my fellow people? The man who gave me this book is a very friend of mine, and we were speaking about maybe it's high time Africans start collaborating. My people, the only difference we have with the Namibians is they speak a different language, but they are Bantu people. In Malawi, Kalonga, when we want to say Kalonga, to say God, they say Kalunga, and then there is other tribes that their languages is intertwined. Even us Malawians and Namibians, we are the same people. Like I said, if you're going to Malawi, you will drive here, you will exit the other side there, you will enter Zambia. After Zambia, the other side, that's where you find Malawi. Before, Africans we were states, we were villages, we were kingdoms, but we are one people. We are called Bantu people. Time is now in Malawi that we must vote for a government that thinks to say, instead of going to America to look for aid, let's go and create better deals within Africa. Let's take advantage. Namibia is a dry land. Malawi is a tropical land. If we plant anything in Malawi, it can grow. Namibia struggle. At least almost 80% or if not 70% of its land, it cannot be cultivated. In Malawi, almost 90% of our land can be cultivated. These are times that we need governments that must come and negotiate to say, in Malawi, we can collaborate, we can create mega farms. In the middle, we share. Namibia takes, if we plant sorghums or if we plant maize or if we plant tomatoes, we say 50% goes to Namibia, 50% remains in Malawi. We collaborate with Zambians. We collaborate with South Africa. We don't have to rely on American aid, European aid. It's killing us. Trump executive orders must be a very, very, very big lesson to African countries. Malawi is a landlocked country. Namibia has ocean, has access to waterways, worldwide waterways. We can collaborate with Namibian government that let us use your port for our export and import. We need government that must not be fighting just after they are sworn in as the president. Then they must already start thinking, so what am I going to do now to win the next election? No, we want a government that must focus on developing our country. As we go towards vote, this is why we are here, and we are going to be comparing. And you know what? Each one of us who are living in this country, we are very ashamed. I had a very kind of embarrassing conversation with my friend. We were having a meeting somewhere, and I made a joke. I said, do you know that in Malawi, one of Malawians' biggest cities biggest malls, shopping malls in my country is like one of their community malls in the location. They call it blockchain. I made a joke about it, and this man really laughed. He said, really? I said, yeah. In a capital city, a shopping mall is like a community shopping mall. We must be very ashamed, Malawians. These are the reasons why we come here every time, now and then, because we want Malawians to know we are using things that are actual, and these are facts. Those who live in Namibia understand that you can drive in a tarred road from the city and another 1.5 kilometers to the other city driving on the tarred road. You know that. Even when you go to the clinic, you yourself as a foreigner, you are able to be assisted very well. Namibia is a very developed country compared to Malawi, even Zambia. Fellow Malawians, our country's economy is in the hands of Indians. We need to chase all of them and open the door for Boers, whites from Germany, whites from England, because we know that these people, they want to develop where they are. All this development that Swapo is mentioning, it's a collaboration between whites and black people. They work together to develop their country. In my country, the government doesn't work well. Black people, Malawians, doesn't work well with the community of the Indians and Pakistanis. Pakistanis and Indians control the economy of this country. We need to chase all of them. If they cannot change, chase them out. It's time to develop our land. It's time to develop our country. It's time to work with those that are doing better than us. What I believe is when you meet a smarter person, don't be against them, rather join them. I want to say something that is very, very important to fellow Malawians for you to understand why also Malawi is not developing. Malawi is not a pan-African country compared to Namibia. Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Zambia, South Africa, they are pan-African countries. And I believe with Tanzania. What do I mean pan-African countries? Let's go back to history. Kamsbanda was not a Malawian. Problem number one in Malawi. When our neighboring countries like Zambia, Namibia, South Africa, Botswana, when they were fighting the Boers, apartheid, when they were fighting, Kamsbanda was siding with them. This is the reason why, and I want you to know this, Malawians, it's written in history and it's written in Namibians and other African countries in SADC to know that Malawians, but not all of them, I beg to differ. Our generation wouldn't allow Malawi to side with the Boers because I'm a black man and I believe in black excellence, and I would have sided with my fellow Malawians and my fellow Africans. Here's what happened, Malawians. Let us know this. There was a time Sam Nujoma, the founding president of Namibia, was running away from Namibia because Boers, the Germans, wanted to kill him. So Julius Nyerere in Tanzania opened this door. Kenneth Kaunda in Zambia opened this door. But Malawi closed its door. Sam Nujoma flew to Malawi, I think it's Kamuzu International Airport. His plane was hauled for hours. At the end, his plane, Sam Nujoma was ordered to fly somewhere else. When our friends were fighting the apartheid, Malawians, through Kamsbanda, an imposter from Ghana, refused to fight the fight. This is why you see Malawi's soccer, Malawi's Premier League cannot be shown on DSTV. This is why you see Malawi is not marketed in SADC African countries tourism. It's not there. It's because of Kamsbanda. So now, my fellow Malawians, each one of you that wants to join politics, time is now to look at, to join those and rewrite the history. Malawi should be a pan-African country. And us as the youth of this country, we will fight for that issue and we will follow up to say, what can we do so that you can forgive us? If a Zimbabwean goes to immigration in Namibia, his days have expired. He will be treated better than a Malawian. If a Zambian goes to Home Affairs to extend his days when his visa expires, Malawians are struggling to extend their days because we are not Pan-Africans. It's very bad for us because people are like, okay, Sam Nujoma just passed on now, but others know about this story, that Malawians are those ones who used to side with what? The imperialists. Fellow Malawians, we need a revolutionary government in this country, a government that must go knock at the door of Namibia and seek for forgiveness, to say, our imposter Kamsbanda refused to open the doors, but us will open for you. Come and open an embassy in Malawi. And we must be able to come to Namibia and say, we want to open an embassy in Malawi. Speaking about embassies, my fellow Malawian, I want to tell you that our embassies, some of them are really useless. Malawi is just wasting money having those kind of offices or Malawi embassies in other countries. Let us seek for a government that must be able to sit down and say, do we really need to have 2 consulates in South Africa? Oh yes, we need. Why? Because we're there, we can sell our things. Well, you know, Malawians, when we say an ambassador is a salesman or a saleswoman who sells their country to a country where they have an embassy in. As I'm speaking now, if we have a Malawian ambassador in Namibia, could be knocking and speaking to the president-elect, Nandi Ndaitwah, to say, you know what, Malawi have this, Malawi have that, Malawi have this, let's work together. But you know what, my fellow Malawians, there is no embassy in Namibia. It was there. Those who were there thought it was wise to close it. But Namibia have lots of opportunities that Malawi can benefit from. Their corridor from Walvis Bay through Zambia. It's even closer than Durban to Malawi. So fellow Malawians, it's one of those reasons, it's one of this type of reasoning that we come here and say, no, we are not in parliament yet, but we must take our time using social media to engage with the government. The good thing is these messages go straight to the leaders. We will not stop. The reason why Malawi needs to change the government, it's because we must now start thinking of having a government that must say, no more SUVs, no more luxury lifestyle for ministers and presidents, at least for 2 years. We agree. If we have to go to Botswana and buy donkey Botswanas in Botswana, we agree. Because with our economy now, we don't even deserve to have to have luxuries in our country. Fellow Malawians, I stand here telling you that we are not going to find this from DPP, UDF, MCP, maybe PP, yes, because the way Madam Joyce Banda is speaking, she seems like if she was a woman that if we could give her a chance, she could have done better. Namibia just elected a woman. I empower women a lot. I come from a woman, so I have faith in President-elect Her Excellency Nandi Ndaitwah that she will deliver. Because I know SWAPO government already set their structures. Every leader comes and follow them. It's like a zebra. A line goes where it's supposed to be. A stereotype. A river does not shift its way. It goes that way. That's how SWAPO government is. So I believe so. So me speaking about maybe PP, I've just watched the interview of former President Joyce Banda. I believe that woman has the capability to run this country better than all these men. If you speak about Peter Mutharika, no, Mr. Peter Mutharika, you must go and rest. You are 95 or 81, whatever. I support the age bill in this country. Let's go for it. We as the youth, we must be the ones occupying those positions. So that we must start to say, okay, let's have an embassy in Namibia. Let's go and have an embassy in China. Some embassies, they are not benefiting us at all. With time that is coming now, redemption must be found in Malawi. At this point, Malawi, I would say, vote wisely, Malawi. Wake up, fellow Malawians. It's time for a revolution. Until we meet again, this is my last point. Malawi, let's not lose hope. One day, Malawi will have 9,000 kilometers of roads infrastructures. We want to have a Malawi with full of energy. We want our standards of living to go higher. We want Malawi to have over 7,000 megawatts in this country. It's a shame. A country that does not have enough electricity. There is no enough power. There is not enough development. If we speak about shopping malls, they must be run by electricity. Fellow Malawians, Malawi lacks a proper government that sits down and assesses before it selects its cabinet. We need a leader with proper foreinsight. We say that. With an insight. Think with the third eye. We need a leader with a new style of running the government. Enough is enough now. We know many corrupt business people in this country. We need people like that to be held accountable. Thank you so much. Until we meet again, Voice from Malawi Forum. Thank you so much.